It's Sarah, and welcome to my crochet channel. Now today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet a yarn stash busting fingerless glove or texting glove. Some people call them wristers. I just call them fingerless gloves. Has a nice long cuff on it, and you can slide your hand in and still be able to work your phone, but keep your hand warm. And of course, I've just got one here because I'm going to show you how to make the other one. And the neat thing about these type gloves is there is not a right or left hand, so you just make two exactly the same. Now we designed this pattern so that it would match somewhat, it's not exactly the same of course, with our yarn stash busting leg warmers. And you can use whatever yarns that you have on hand that are medium 4, and we'll talk more about that when we get just a little farther on in the video. You can find this free crochet pattern on my blog, and as always, you'll find that link down in the notes underneath this video. So I decided to make my yarn stash busting fingerless gloves with the same yarns that I used for my leg warmers, since I had some of them left. And you're going to need a total of about 4 ounces to make 2 gloves. I'm using this heather gray, this bright teal blue, hot pink, and this orchid purple. These are all medium weight number 4 acrylic yarns. You can use Red Heart Super Saver. You can use the I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby. And the truth of the matter is, any medium weight number 4 yarn will work. I do not recommend cotton though. One of the things to remember is that just because I'm changing colors, you don't have to. You could make this all in one color if you wanted to. It's totally up to you what yarns you have in your yarn stash. So just grab some and have fun with this pattern. We're going to be stitching today with our H-hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need your scissors, and then you'll need your needle just for weaving in those ends. We're going to start with the band of our glove, and then we'll work our way up to the hand portion of the glove. So I'm going to start with my slip knot, and I'm going to chain 13 chains. (11, 12, 13). I do suggest that you stitch this initial chain just a little bit loose, because we're going to be stitching it in a long band and putting those bands together, and you don't want that one to be scrunched up and not fit together nicely. All right, now we're going to begin by stitching a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. You don't count the one on your hook. There's our first one, here's our second. So we'll go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. And we'll do this all the way across. 1 single crochet in each of those chains across. Now we begin with 13 chains, and we started in the second chain from the hook, so we're going to have 12 single crochets. This is going to make a nice long band for our fingerless glove. We'll chain 1 and turn. Now for row 2, we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in each stitch across, but we are going to stitch in the back loops only. So if you look at the top, you'll see there are loops on this side and loops on this side. The loops facing you are your front loops. The loops on the back side are your back loops. So we're going to go right in that first back loop and stitch a single crochet. Our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, it's just a turning chain. So we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets across, stitching in the back loops only. And this is how that nice stretchy band is formed. One single crochet in each of the single crochets, working in the back loops only. And you're going to have 12 single crochets and chain 1. Here's your front. You can see we have that edge there where we didn't stitch in those front loops. And then we'll turn it over and you can see there's an indentation there. It's indented where we stitched on the back loops. All right, so we chained 1 and turn, and we're going to continue to stitch 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets, working in the back loops only. And we're going to continue to do this and form the band of our fingerless gloves. One single crochet in each of the stitches across, stitching in the back loop only. You'll have 12 single crochets, and we're going to repeat this for 26 more rows, and that'll give you a total of 29 rows. I've continued to repeat 1 single crochet in each stitch across, stitching in the back loops only, and I now have 29 rows. Now, this is going to fit a wrist that's about 9 or 10 inches, and keep in mind it's very stretchy and you want it to stay put on your wrist. Now, you can adjust this by adding or subtracting 3 of these rows per inch of your wrist. If you have a little bit wider wrist and you want to make it a little wider, you'll need to add 3 rows. If you want to make it less, then you'll need to subtract 3 rows, because we need those stitches in order for the pattern to work. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to place the 2 ends together, and we're going to single crochet them closed so it forms the band or the cuff of our glove. All right, so we're going to come over here and go through both sides and stitch a single crochet, and we'll stitch 12 single crochets across. And this is what I was talking about at the beginning, where we didn't want this row to be too tight, because if this was too short, it wouldn't fit and match up to the other side. So we want to be able to have just a little bit of wiggle room so that everything lines up nicely and our band fits together nicely. All right, so we're going to continue to stitch those together to form the band of our glove. I've stitched my band together. I have 12 single crochets, and this row counts as our 30th row. We did 29, and then this one is 30, and you can see that it blends in nicely. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch 30 single crochets around the top edge of our glove. We'll chain 1 and we'll go right in that first stitch and stitch a single crochet. We'll stitch 1 in the indentation and then 1 in the top of the ridge. One thing you do need to do is try to stitch in the stitches and not the holes. You're going to need to stitch 30 single crochets around the top of your glove cuff. And if you make sure, whoops, I went right in the hole there. Let's go through there. There we go. If you make sure that you stitch one in the top of the ridge or the indentation and one in the top of the ridge, you'll be getting one in the end of each row plus the row that we added, and so you'll have 30 single crochets. I've single crocheted 30 single crochets all the way around. Join to my first single crochet, and I should have 30 single crochets. Now, if you're not changing colors, go ahead and chain 2. I'm going to bring in my purple, and then I'm going to chain 2 because this chain 2 counts as my first half double crochet. All right, now we're going to place 1 half double crochet in each of those stitches, working all the way around. So go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. 1 half double crochet in each of those single crochets around. And again, you don't have to change colors if you don't want to. And you noticed when I was stitching the beginning of my purple color, I went ahead and stitched over the tail. That'll make it a lot easier for me to weave that in later. And I did not cut my color 1 because I'm going to bring it back in on the next row. All right, so 1 half double crochet in each of the single crochets around, and then we'll join back to our chain 2. I completed my row of 1 half double crochet in each of my single crochets around, and I have 30 half double crochets. I join back to my chain 2, and if you're not changing colors, go ahead and chain 2. I'm actually going to go ahead and cut my yarn because I'm not going to drag it up until towards the top, and I don't want that big area of yarn when I'm trying to put my hand in and out of my glove. I'm going to be changing back to my color 1. We'll snug that down, chain 2, and just repeat what we just did. 1 half double crochet in each of the stitches around. One half double crochet in each half double crochet around, and then we'll join back to our chain 2. I've stitched that row of 1 half double crochet in each of the half double crochets around. I joined to my chain 2, and if you're not changing colors, go ahead and chain 3. I am going to change colors, so I'm going to do my chain 3 after my color change. I am going to leave my color 1 still attached. Now this chain 3 counts as a half double crochet, chain 1, and now we're going to half double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to skip the next stitch and stitch a half double crochet in the next, chain 1, and half double crochet in the next. Skip the next, half double crochet in the next, chain 1, and half double crochet in the next. And so the repeat is skip 1, half double crochet, chain 1, and then half double crochet in the next. skip the next, half double crochet, chain 1, and then half double crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next, half double crochet in the next, chain 1, and half double crochet in the next. And we'll continue to repeat that around. We'll join back to the chain 2 of that initial chain 3. I have completed stitching half double crochet, chain 1, and half double crochet, and then skip the next and repeat. And you'll have 10 sets of half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet. I joined to the chain 2 of our initial chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch in that first chain 1 space. And if you're not changing colors, you don't have to cut your yarn, but I'm changing colors to this bright teal, so I'm going to bring that in. There we go. Chain 2, chain 1 more because we want to have a chain 3 there that counts as a half double crochet, chain 1. And then we're going to half double crochet in that same chain 1 space. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to each of those chain 1 spaces. So here's the next double crochet, there's our skipped stitch, here's our next half double crochet, not double crochet, and then our chain 1 space. So we'll go to that chain 1 space and stitch a half double crochet, chain 1, and half double crochet. And we'll do this all the way around. So here's our next half double crochet, there's our skipped stitch, half double crochet, and here's our chain 1 space. So we'll stitch half double crochet, chain 1, and half double crochet in the chain 1 space. And we'll do this all the way around, and you'll have 10 of those half double crochet V stitches. See how that works? We're only stitching the V stitches in those 10 chain 1 spaces. So I've completed those half double crochet V stitches in each of the chain 1 spaces, which is a half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet. I joined to the chain 2 of that chain 3, and then I slip stitched in that chain 1 space. I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and I did a chain 1 just to hold it. I'm going to take that chain 1 out. There we go. And I'm done with that color. And yes, I have a little bit of weaving in to do. I love the changing of all the colors, but again, you don't have to change colors if you don't want to. I'm bringing my gray back in, that is my color 1. I'm going to go right in that chain 1 space, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, and stitch a half double crochet. All right, now the way this row is going to work is we're going to stitch a half double crochet in each of the half double crochets. There we go. And then we'll stitch a half double crochet in that chain 1 space. So half double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet in the chain 1 space, half double crochet, half double crochet, and half double crochet in the chain 1 space. And we'll work this moving all the way around. So we're stitching a half double crochet in each of the half double crochet stitches, as well as a half double crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces of our V stitches. And this is going to get us back to 30 half double crochets. I completed that row of half double crochets, stitching 1 in each of the half double crochets and 1 in each of the chain 1 spaces. Now I'm going to be changing colors here. If you're not, go ahead and chain 2. I'm going back to my purple, and I'm going to chain 2. On this row, we're going to be forming the beginnings of the forming of our thumb hole. And so we're going to half double crochet in each of the half double crochets around, but we're going to leave those last 3 half double crochets unworked. So we're going to stitch 27 half double crochets and leave the last 3 unworked. All right, so we're stitching 1 half double crochet in the next 27 half double crochets. I stitched a half double crochet in only the first 27 half double crochets. I'm leaving these 3 unworked. I'm going to bring back in my gray yarn, and I had to cut it because I don't want to drag it across this thumb opening, and I'll have to weave that in. All right, so we're going to chain 2, and this time we're going to turn our work because we're going to stitch back the opposite direction. 1, 2, and we're going to stitch only in those 27 half double crochets. So we're stitching 1 half double crochet in each of the 27 stitches. I stitched those 27 half double crochets. Now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to join to the chain 3 on this side with a slip stitch and chain 1 and turn. And you can see here I've got a few ends to weave in, but here we formed the thumb hole. So now we chained 1 and we're going to turn so that we're working back around this way again. We're going to place 1 single crochet in each of those 3 chains. Oops, I missed the chain. There we go. Then we'll stitch 1 single crochet in each of those half double crochets around. And I do recommend that you might tighten up your tension just a little bit here, just so we get a nice even row of single crochets going all the way around. And of course we're starting to finish off our glove, so we want it to be just a little bit tighter in our stitches, you know, so it forms better around the inside of your hand. All right, so we're going to continue to stitch single crochets all the way around, and then we'll join back over here to this first single crochet above our thumb hole. I stitched 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and in those 3 chains I'm going to join to my first single crochet with a slip stitch, chain 1, and now we're just going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of those single crochets around, just to give us a nice finished edge on the top of our fingerless glove. So 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets around. We'll join back to our first single crochet, tie off, and yes, we're going to have quite a few ends to weave in if we changed colors. I completed that last row of single crochets. I joined to my first single crochet, and now I'm going to tie off. I'm going to pull that to the inside, and now I have a little bit of weaving in to do, but I wanted to slide my hand inside. Nice fit. Do have some tidying up to do. So here is my finished set of fingerless gloves, or wristers, or texting gloves, and I'm super in love with them. They have nice long bands, keep me warm, and I can still use my phone if I need to. Another place these are really great for is for driving. I like to feel the steering wheel but keep my hands warm. What colors of yarn do you have in your yarn stash that would make wonderful and fun fingerless gloves?